this is not the $1 million, $750,000, $500,000 part of town, right? It's a very modest part of town. And it's not surrounded by as much community as some of the other parts of Buffalo Grove. They're surrounded by commercial districts, major highways, right? We don't especially want more gambling. And I don't have a moral problem with gambling. I don't think gambling is any worse than a bar. I just don't especially want the bar across the street either. Or for that matter, next door at the Mexican restaurant. I'd rather have more homes, more bike paths, and things like that. So, you know, I trust that you're going to do the best that you can. I trust that you're trying to balance the whole community. I really do. And I don't personally think there was anything malicious on anybody's part about trying to keep anything secret. I really don't. I'm asking mostly that you consider the welfare of the families. There's lots of kids in that subdivision, a lot. Just come by one morning when the buses come by and you'll see. I fail to see how it's going to improve quality of life of that subdivision to add off-track betting. It might not make it any worse, but I just don't see how it's going to make it any better. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Very briefly, I'm Meredith Johnson. I'm at 16 Marquette Place in the Clubbing and Gardens subdivision. I appreciate all that's been said. I appreciate your service to the community of Buffalo Grove, and I'm actually proud to be a resident. We were annexed in. If I could just say something about the communication, it can definitely be improved. We felt the brunt of the lack of communication when we were annexed in, and I feel like we're experiencing it now. And basically what I want to say is that we don't want the yeah, but.
Thank you. Trustee Sussman.
I believe in the KISS method, also known as keep it simple. And to me, this is what we're saying. This vote tonight will make it possible for off-track betting to be voted in at Adams Ridge in the next 2 weeks. And that's what this is all about. Correct?
Trustee Brimm.
Thank you. First of all, to the people who talked about the communication, communication is a two-way street. We can do only so much. We do what we can. Some of the ideas are not practical necessary, but the people have to also reach out and look at the places where we do communicate and read the newspapers, look at the information, watch Channel 6, watch the village meetings to be informed yourselves too. That's my opinion, always has been and always will be. Lisa, I'm sorry, but if a change means rudeness to other trustees, I don't want that change, okay? But lastly, I would ask that we call the question.
Thank you. At this time, there's been a motion to call a question.
We've got the question.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Freeman.
Aye.
Glover. Aye. Berman.
Aye.
Trilling.
Aye.
Stone.
No or nay?
Sussman.
No.
I cast a vote of aye.
Motion declared carried 5-2.
Before everybody leaves, I do want to sincerely thank everybody who came tonight. I think your input is valuable. You need to understand that most of the comments that were made here this evening had nothing to do with what we were voting upon tonight, but have much to do with what we will be voting upon in 2 weeks. So to the extent that you've shared that information with it, I think that's very, very valuable. It's insightful, and it's important that we hear what you have to say, and I do appreciate that you took the time to come out tonight to do that. I personally, I love this community. I wear a button quite often that says, I love Buffalo Grove. And I really do. I love this community because this is a great place. We got a lot of great people here. We got a lot of great people up on this board. And I think everybody's here because they want to serve the entire community. I appreciate the fact that you're here. I think the fact that when we have people here and we can have this interchange, I think that's a great thing for the community. I'm disappointed, quite frankly, when we have an election. And very few people show up. The number of people that come out to our municipal election was atrocious, absolutely atrocious. And I'll say that time and time again. And I do, because I think the one thing that people need to do, people do need to participate. People need if you have ideas, if you have thoughts, share them with us. You can email us, you can call us, and you're here. And those people of you that are here tonight, I applaud you, because I think it's great that you're here. I hope anybody who's sitting at home who wants to share their thoughts with us does so. I urge you to send us emails. I urge you to call us. I urge you to send us letters on this or any issue. That's what we're here for. And as Trustee Brimm said, it is a two-way street. We try our best. We try our best to hear what the people of Buffalo Grove say. We have a lot of vehicles for communication. As I said a few moments ago, can we improve? Can we do more? Of course, we can always do more, and I hope we will. And if people make suggestions, as I said, I'm receptive to doing what anybody says to improve upon it. But in the meantime, I just want to thank you for your input this evening. I want to thank you for your patience in basically sitting through this meeting, especially for those of you who endured the entire evening. And those of you who are home, who are watching this whole meeting, I applaud you, because you must have a lot of patience to sit through this meeting at home and on your television sets, because it's going to take a lot of time to watch this meeting. And if you sat through the whole thing, thank you for listening. And please let us hear from you. We do welcome your input. At this time, we did have another item on the agenda. We have a couple of other items on the agenda. Let's move on to the. We do have an item of old business, which is an award of bid for the golf maintenance equipment. Trustee Brimm.
Thank you. I would move for the award of bid for the golf maintenance equipment to Vermeer Midwest, Inc., an amount for a model ASY PT-50 all-surface track loader in an amount not to exceed $29,262.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the motion?
Bill, I assume that we have reserve balance, and it's more than enough to cover this. Is that correct?
That's correct. There's currently a little over $33,000 in the reserve, so it's more than sufficiently provided for.
And this equipment is not necessarily the lowest
That's
bidder,
correct.
but this is the bid that the staff believes it's most appropriate given the circumstances, given the needs of the golf course. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's the lowest responsible lowest responsible bidder in terms of, that's correct,
And
what we
it's-
want to use on the
And
facilities.
it's marginally more than the other one.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
About $700, I believe.
Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll?
Freeman.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Berman.
Aye.
Trilling.
Aye.
Stone.
Aye.
Sussman.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
There is a second piece of equipment that,
Okay, yes, and that's also for two Toro Model 3150 greens mowers, as specified in the memorandum, an amount to exceed together $43,496.
that's correct. And this, again, they were not the lowest pieces of equipment that were bid. The staff reviewed and utilized this equipment. We have extensive Toro equipment in the fleet, so we don't have to buy any attachments. And we know how this equipment operates and how it's used. It's appropriate for the use, both at the Arboretum at Buffalo Grove Golf Club, and would recommend the purchase as noted. There is, again, more than sufficient funds in the reserves to provide for the purchase.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll?
Freeman.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Berman.
Aye.
Trilling.
Aye.
Stone.
Aye.
Sussman.
Thank you.
Moving to an item of new business, you recall last week at our last meeting, we talked about the village antenna tower and the need to replace that. This is an authorization to bid the Village Hall antenna tower. Trustee Berman.
Thank you. I'd move approval of the authorization to bid the Village Hall antenna tower in accordance with the memorandum and the attachment, which lists the items of notice to bidders.
Second.
Thank you. As noted, again, on the 20th of April, the board did authorize the design and fabrication of the Tower of Valmont Structures. That tower is under construction and fabrication to be delivered shortly. And this contract, based on a bid that we'd eventually recommend, would be to construct a pad and a caisson that the tower would sit on, and also the same contractor that would develop the pad structure would also fabricate and erect the tower as specified.
Any further discussion on the motion? Will the clerk call the roll?
Freeman.
Aye.
Glover.
Aye.
Berman.
Aye.
Trilling.
Aye.
Stone. Sussman. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Next, moving to item B, authorization to waive bids and to request proposals for the wireless network. Trustee Trilling.
Defer to staff.
Thank you. This is a request to waive bids and to release a technical request for proposal to replace the wireless network that was destroyed when the tower that was on top of this building collapsed on March 9th. It's similar to the matter that was previously discussed to provide for the replacement tower. Rob and the IT department and also some elements of public safety are developing a request for proposal that we want to put on the street, be able to evaluate the proposal along with our partners at District 102 and also with the Buffalo Grove Park District to replace all the wireless communication atop the tower. It's a proposal that's not easily spec'd individually. We need to work on this collectively, and it's a technical proposal. Therefore, the request to waive the bids, but to release a request for proposals on the street, evaluate, and then bring back a recommendation to the board.
Trustee Trilling.
Thank you. I understand the village staff will
Is there
be...
a second also?
I'll second it. I understand the village staff will be managing this process and will be jointly funded by the Park District, District 102, and ourselves. My question relates to the actual proposal that are going to be received. Do the other entities have any process, if you will, relative to the review or approval?
I believe they'll be working with us. This is correct. Yeah, they have a staff person assigned to this project, both at the Park District and from the school. Rob's been remaining close with them. He's communicated with me on this process, and they will be partners in this. We're looking to them both not only financially, but to work with them intellectually, if you will, to bring this process forward.
Okay. And are you looking for unanimous decision amongst all parties, or if someone disagrees with us, how would we go about resolving it?
I don't know the answer to the question. It will wind up being unanimous decision between the parties as to which vendor we're looking to select. The base technology has already been selected, so it's really just how we're going to implement that technology and the best solution we're going to go after for that. We have had a wireless network in place with these parties before, so this would just basically be replacing of the existing. So we're not looking to create anything new. We're just looking to replace what we had before. So I'm not anticipating anything radically different than what was in place.
Okay, but we are looking for their consent. Thank you.
There's been a motion made and second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will clerk call the roll.
Freeman.
Aye.
Glover.
Aye.
Berman.
Aye.
Trilling.
Aye.
Stone.
Aye.
Sussman.
Aye.
I would make a query of our village attorney at this time. Is there, I know the hour is late, and we had originally scheduled going into executive session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation. Is there any reason that you need input from the board this evening, or can we defer that, Mr. Myers?
It was a summation of what is pending litigation for the two new trustees.
It is not essential we proceed with that this evening.
That's correct, Mr. President.
If no one has any objection, we'll dispense with that for this evening. I would entertain a motion to adjourn, but before I do, I know tonight's meeting at times has gotten a little heated, but obviously we may have some growing pains as a new board. But I'm hopeful, as I said at the beginning of the meeting, we're all here for one purpose. I think we all were elected for the right reason, and that is to serve the people of Buffalo Grove. And as I said at the beginning of the meeting, we all have to respect one another. And I've also said time and time again, when we've had heated discussions or disagreements in the past, what's done is done. We should not look back, we should look forward. So to the extent that anyone has any ill will or frustration over tonight's meeting about what's been said or not said and so forth, I would hope that everybody on this board will basically, as I would always hope we will do, is look forward and let's put this meeting behind us and let's try and move forward in a very positive way and work together for the betterment of the people of Buffalo Grove. I'd entertain a motion to approve. To approve, well, to approve, I would entertain a motion to approve that statement, but it primarily would ask a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting stands adjourned. I don't even know what I'm saying.
Well, you're tired.